He assured me he didn't want me to say my name. But I told him any attempt of the Tlingit language within Tlingit Ani is an honor. So no matter how he says it, it's still respectful. And the fact that he's trying. Gonna cheese for that beautiful introduction. Ye shatu you had to suck shi inedi nahatati. Ye shit I hat. My name is Ginger McCormick. I'm Camp 15 member. We have a couple amazing things for you lined up for you tonight. The first thing I want to do is I love to acknowledge the people in the room. And I would like everyone in the room to meet our new Grand Camp President, Woodrow Watson. Woodrow Watson is the Alaskan Native Brotherhood Grand Camp President. It's been many, many years since Grand Camp has been within the state of Alaska. It's traveled so far. It went down to the city of Portland, went down to Seattle, went up to Juneau a few times, and Tennecky Springs, and it's finally back home on our island. Congratulations, Woodrow Watson, for representing us so well and bringing back Grand Camp back home. As a part of tonight, we had gathered a joint proclamation between the Ketchikan Gateway Borough, City of Ketchikan, City of Saxman, Organized Village of Saxman, and the Ketchikan Indian community. Tonight it's my honor to introduce you to our new mayor, Austin Otos, and he is going to be reading off our proclamation tonight.
Hey, Woodrow, we have a proclamation that that all the local governments here and signed on last Monday. And I read this at the assembly meeting on Monday and gave it to other people in your group. So I wanted to read this and then give it to you, okay? All right. So, whereas Elizabeth Peratrovich was a fearless Tlingit leader, civil rights advocate, and moral force whose courage and eloquence helped dismantle institutionalized racism in Alaska at a time when Alaska Natives were openly excluded from public life. And whereas she was born in Petersburg, Alaska, was a member of the Luchari clan of the Raven Moiety of the Tlingit Nation, and was a graduate of Ketchikan High School. And whereas during the early 20th century, no natives allowed signs were common throughout Alaska, reflecting a legalized and socially accepted system of racial discrimination and denied Alaskan Native people equal dignity, access, and opportunity. And whereas Elizabeth Peratrovich played a decisive role in the passage of the Alaska Anti-Discrimination Act of 1945, including delivering her historic testimony before the territorial legislature, where she confronted bigotry with clarity, dignity, and moral authority, helping shift the course of civil rights in America. And whereas this historic legislation, adopted in 1945, became the first anti-discrimination law passed in the United States. And whereas the Alaska Anti-Discrimination Act was signed into law nearly 20 years before the United States Congress passed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And whereas the Alaska Anti-Discrimination Act was signed into law nearly 20 years before Congress had passed the Civil Rights Act. And whereas Elizabeth Peratrovic's legacy extends beyond legislation, serving as a lasting reminder that Indigenous leadership, women's voices, and community advocacy are foundational to democracy, justice, and equality. And in 1988, the Alaska Legislature established February 16th as Elizabeth Peratrovich Day. Now, therefore, we do hereby recognize February 16th, 2026 as Elizabeth Peratrovich Day and call upon all citizens to honor and celebrate her life, legacy, and steadfast commitment to equality for all. And this is signed in the month of February by me, the mayor of Ketchikan, Gateway Borough, Bob Sievertson, mayor of the city of Ketchikan, Frank Seludo, who's here, mayor of the city of Saxman, Gloria Burns, president of Ketchikan Indian Community, and Joseph Williams, who will be signing it later, Organized Village of Saxman. So we have a proclamation copy here for you, and you can have that there. And thank you so much. I just have a little bit of story about Elizabeth. When I go to Juneau, she has that really beautiful mural there in Juneau that they did a couple years ago. But I always remind people in Juneau that she was a Ketchikan K-High graduate. So a lot of people don't know that. And I always show them the picture in the 1940, I forgot when she graduated K-High. Anyways, I always show her the picture that I have in my phone with her in the K-High graduate. So here, you can talk. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, works. Yeah, say.
Thank you very much for this. This is a big honor. First time being able to do this in here, which is where it should be. We've done this for many years, and it's nice to see it coming back again. Ginger, thank you. Your Honor, thank you.
Did everyone just hear Mayor Otos say that there's Elizabeth Peratrovich mural coming to Ketchikan soon? I think that's what I heard. Gunakshish, Mayor Otos. Now I would like to invite the panelists down to join the table. Our panelists, Michael Milne, Milgum, Frank Dundas, Frank H. Seludo, Eric Kamar. Did anybody see the Kasan Haidas walk in? I didn't see them walk in yet. I know they're in a wrestling tournament, so they're popping in any moment, I'm sure. Tom Guthrie. All right, I just want to say before I get the questions going, this is rapid questions. We're only going to give these guys 3 questions. I just want to uplift, this event has uplifted our youth. Our young girls in high school are plummeting right now into deep dive research into themselves and into their culture. They're thriving. You see the women around the island, or their chins are up. They're feeling, real confident within themselves. But one thing I noticed is when you look around and you talk about Elizabeth, everybody wants to talk about A and B and other entities. But when I think about Elizabeth, my first panel here, I had the aunties come. Because for me, it was really important that I had my auntie. She's the one that brought me home. She's the one that keeps teaching me, and she humbles me, and she keeps me in line. And if I'm ever out of line, just go find Candace Williams. She'll straighten me back up. But I want to put emphasis in our uncles. Who were Elizabeth's uncles? How did they impact her? How did they guide her? What were those conversations like in Klawock and sitting around the table? What did they say to her that was so important that she was able to stand so eloquently? And then a lot of us are always talking about how men need healing. Yeah, a lot of our men do need healing, and a lot of our women do as well. But this panel tonight's about uplifting our men. And I was very picky about which men I selected. These men that I selected tonight on this panel have extraordinarily been the most amazing, heartfelt uncles I've ever witnessed within this community. When I see Tora Zamora out there and she's real nervous at her event, out in the crowd is always Tom and Judy, and Kylie's always wandering around volunteering, but Tom's always there to support her. He always gives her uplifting words. Whenever the children of Saxman come into the gym, Frank can't help himself. He pops in and teaches them how to shoot correctly and teaches them how to point. And then he also always low-key guides them in how to communicate in the roles he does within the community by consistently uplifting and never trying to degrade others. It's the most amazing feeling you can have. Franklin, and it's shocking that his drum's not sitting in front of him, but you can hear his drum beat from miles away, and I know his nieces can hear it too. His voice goes through 4 clan houses. He's consistently uplifting. He doesn't hesitate to show up. Whenever I tell him it's Elizabeth Peratrovich Day, he doesn't let me finish. He's always willing. He loves the connections, and it's not just the simple connections. It's the cultural connections that he's always come to Sonia Kwan. Their families have always been close to Tonta Kwan. And then Milgum. Milgum, I've witnessed multitudes of times within culture camps, in public, with my niece Anessa. You know, to me, in my eyes, she is the next Elizabeth Peratrovich. And when you have uncles like that surrounding these women and girls, they really are impacting them. It's not just the aunties that's doing these things. It is the uncles, and we have uncles here in front of us. I also like to say I didn't want to put our grand president on the panel, but I really wanted to ask him. I wasn't going to, but he is another good uncle as well. So find your good uncles. You know, let them inspire you and mentor you, and I hope this panel can help with that. So if Elizabeth were here today, what do you think she would say about the role of the uncles in supporting strong Native women? If Elizabeth Peratrovich were here today, I believe she would remind us strong Native women do not rise alone. They rise within the strength of their clans, their families, the men who understand their responsibility within a matrilineal system. She might say that our uncles are not optional figures in our community, they are foundational. In Tlingit society, the uncles carry authority, guidance, protection. He helps shape the identity. He corrects it with love. He ensures that clan daughters know exactly who they are and whose they are. Elizabeth stood with calm power before Alaska territorial legislators because she stood on generations of grounding, cultural law, clan structure, and uncles who stood their role. I believe she would challenge today's male leaders to move beyond the symbolic support. She would expect action, men who show up consistently, who speak up when women are being disrespected, who mentor young people, who uphold cultural teachings in public and private spaces. She would likely remind them that supporting strong Native women does not diminish the male leadership, it strengthens the entire clan and community. She might also say that true male leadership isn't about control, it's about responsibility. In our way, leadership is service. It is protection without ego. It is guidance without silence. It is creating space for women to speak, lead, and thrive. And perhaps most importantly, she would remind us that when uncles step fully into their role, grounded in culture, humility, and accountability, they help raise generations of women who can stand in any room, anywhere, and speak truth without fear. That is the legacy she carried, and that is a responsibility she would likely ask today's men to carry forward. So I'm going to have the panelists go through, introduce themselves, and I want them to answer the same question that I just answered. What do you think she would say about the role of the uncles in leadership today?
Right? Well, first,
I can start.
My name is Tom Guthrie. My name is Anuyuk in the Tlingit Nation. My great-grandmother was May Moore from Sitka, Kagwantam, Eagle. And my grandmother wasn't able to teach me Tlingit history because of the schools and what they did to them. But my grandfather always taught me to the Tsimshian language and stories. But he told me I was too old when he was telling me our language. At that time, I didn't know what he meant. I was 8 or 9, and I should have been younger where I could understand what he was saying. But it's important that he told me in English as well. I remember those. I wish I knew the other side too, because that's most important. And I love what they say about Elizabeth. My great auntie, Eunice Akagi, his son and I share a name. Is Randy Wanamaker. We share Anu-Yuk, it means earth shaker. I asked him, what does that do for me? It strengthens the name when you come part of it. I didn't know that. There's a little bit difference on Tsimshian Tlingit ways. I really like what she told me because I was important to learn both sides. And it's important to let you know I love our culture both ways because it tells people who we are. Right now, I'd like to see all of us unite so we have a strength of unity within this community, the southern community of our people. Deutschen, Hoa, Buddhist cheese.
Frank Seludo, Mayor Saxman, and born and raised.
And if Elizabeth were here today, what do you think she would say about the role of the uncles in leadership?
Really working together all as one, I think, is a big thing. And I've seen it. We as a community has come a long ways just working together. So yeah, I think working together and staying strong.
Cheese, thank you.
You still have time on the call? No.
This is why we have a panel of uncles.
Sumoiget, Simgiget, Sigramanana, Lagiget, Kabawalse. Na am hati jamti dawayu, Gisput wada diptago. Su malakala diglawatku, Gislax Hagamagua. Chiefs, matriarchs, people of rank, children of the village. My name is Naam Hati, voice of the Thunderbird. I am from the Gispuwada clan of the Tsimshian Nation. I come from Gitzland of Lakwalams over in BC. I am from and live in New Metlakatla. You know, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Elizabeth Peratrovich, for her to fight for our rights. You know, because of her helped me become a strong leader and be able to pass down and help encourage our young ones to keep our voice going. Because, you know, I started in on this a little late. Malcolm Jumpty was in there when around the time I first started. And, you know, he's helped me a lot. And we kind of grew in together, and we help our nephews and nieces, and we keep pushing that because, you know, they are our future, and we want them to keep our voice alive. It is great, and that we're doing everything we can to keep Elizabeth Peratrovic's legacy around.
Milgam Sumti Diwayu. My name's Michael Milne. My name translates lightning that dances. I am by all means a child of the surrounding areas, not just Ketchikan, Metlakatla, and Prince of Wales, but all the surrounding islands combined. Our people have had a foothold in the surrounding area for time immemorial, and our stories go back even farther than that. Given the fact that we are an oral speaking and tradition holding type of people, you know, our words can only last so long as our bonds last with each other. So doing things as a community is our foothold on everything. We lose who we are if we are not connected to each other. So I am a carver, I'm a storyteller, I have a little fancy way with words. My whole life as an artist and as a carver and cultural representation that I have stems around my job as an uncle. I thought it was being a father and, you know, passing the next generation on and like things like that. But traditionally, our people used to live in one singular longhouse. Grandparents would shepherd their new kin in the house. You marry them off and make a bigger house farther down the line. It was always the uncle's jobs to discipline, sharpen, to be that honing edge for the next generation. Each generation is going to be something new and beautiful and different. So from the time I've spent with Franklin being in the dance group, watching him become a dance group leader, to watching him be the voice that manages a dance general like myself on the dance floor when I'm helping the younger generation move forward, use the right dance moves, use the right language. I myself, as an uncle, could not do that without the uncles before me. Elizabeth knew that. And if there's anything that she fought for, was not only just the uncles, but the counterbalance to that. I'm gonna get a little spiritual for a moment. That's why our form line is black and red. There's a primary and there's a secondary. There's always a good balance to holding our cultural presence alive. That's just the visual, and you know, uncles are as important as aunties. But yes, I feel only as important because an auntie put me here on this panel. Thank you.
Ganakchish. Looking back, and I swear Tom Guthrie didn't see any of my questions. So looking back, was there a teaching from your uncle that didn't make sense at the time but carries deep meaning for you now? And the reason why I say this, it's not my uncle, but my grandmother always says, you can't help to hold people accountable for what they don't know. And I used to get really angry at non-natives, and I just got so irritated with systems. And she said, you need to knock it off. You can't be angry at people that don't know. Well, now that I'm an adult and I look back, there was no history about us in school. How am I holding these people that are the same age as me accountable? They didn't have to live in the same village I do or in the same place I do. So later on in life, I finally understood is like, if you really want people to know, you're gonna have to teach them and you're gonna have to help guide them and stop being angry and shoving them out. And that's how we can be living amongst each other, is to get to better know ourselves and others. So I'm gonna start this question off with Frank Dundas, and we're gonna go back to looking back, was there a teaching from your uncle that didn't make sense at the time, but carries deep meaning for you now, and something that you would pass on to your niece?
I hope it's on. There's quite a bit of uncles that I had to follow, and it's kind of tough to choose one. But when my uncle Clarence was helping me get to start fishing, he pulled me under his wing at the time, uh, and was trying to encourage me to do more than just fishing, because it didn't, to him, it was more than harvesting and uh, and everything. He also, because with him and in my family, I'm sorry to say, but basketball was also our culture because everybody loved it. But a lot of the stuff that he was telling me, I didn't really take in like I should have. Uh, and I really wish I did. And I do that. I wish I took a lot in from all my uncles, that stuff that I know now. We take a lot of stuff for granted, but we don't, act on them right away. And it's something that we should be doing, just to keep their legacy alive, as we are doing with Elizabeth Peratrovich, uh, because what she did for us was amazing. So what we do as uncles, we try to pass it on as much knowledge as we can to our nieces, our nephews, our great nieces, great nephews, just to try to keep everything alive and moving forward, and they have them build on what we're teaching, have them add. That's something I wish I was able to do with all the knowledge that all my uncles have passed down to me. I never really got a chance to add on to what they're doing. I just started passing it, what they taught me, and I wish I got to add more to it, as I'm trying now now that I'm a dance group leader, I have all my nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews, all in the dance group dancing with us, and I try to pass all that knowledge down to them as well. So my family loves to dance. There's a few of them that are getting into being artists, and they go and talk to Milton's Empty, or they talk to my father. They talk to the Native Arts teacher at the school, or they talk to Terrence Booth Jr., who is also an amazing artist. So I always encourage them to try to get as much knowledge as they can and then add to it and pass it down.
Can we repeat the question again for my ready ears?
Some Franklin, for your response. Milgam, looking back, was there a teaching from your uncle that didn't make sense at the time but carries deep meaning for you now?
If you don't shoot the deer, don't ask for the berries. Simple guidance is communication. Very, very seldomly put into long, expanded explanations from any uncle. It's right there, Talk. Always communicate. Say something. I'm the gnarliest 90s kid that can come out of the power 90s, and I didn't have time to stop and smell the roses or anything. It was always what was in front of me. What's next? What am I working on? And if there's anything you can learn from an uncle is stop, breathe, talk. You understand everything else that's going on around you. Patience develops. Bridges in between people are made that way. So if anything, talk. Thanks.
Ganakchish. Mayor Seludo, looking back, was there a teaching from your uncle that didn't make sense at the time but carries deep meaning for you now?
I must have been at that age of where uncles told me all the ugly, the good, ugly, and everything, and made me figure it out on believing what you want to believe. And so finding the uncle or uncles that within you who you trust really is a big thing, because when it comes to, I guess, politics, it really does mean a lot when you talk to people. I've always said I'll talk to anybody. I can talk to anybody. You put my counsel down or you put staff down, that's when I get defensive. And when it really does come to, finding the, people that you trust and things like that. So, so there's a lot of people a lot of uncles, aunties, my own mom. Sometimes the things that come out is like, wow. But then you really got to pay attention and, watch for yourself to see how people or things turn out. So for me, it's, talking to all your uncles and aunties.
Ganakchish. Mr. Guthrie, looking back, was there a teaching from your uncle that didn't make sense at the time but carries deep meaning with you now?
What I like to see is continuation of what I was taught when I was young. if I got in trouble when I was young, it wasn't my dad to talk to me. It was the uncles. It's important that the uncles stay in tune with the kids. They're the disciplinarians of our people. They're the ones that tell us what's right and wrong, and that needs to continue. Our women of the Tsimshian world were matriarch, the ones that were older. They knew how to figure out things for life of all, and they take patience to analyze everything. And most of the time, they're right. And we think too fast, the men. Most of the time, the women are right. And it comes to everything nowadays where we have to listen to what they have to say, not push them aside. Listen. When I was young, my Uncle Bertie, we were shivering in our boots when he came in to talk to us. He was a big man, probably 300 pounds, 6'2". And when his voice was there talking to me and my brother, we listened. Right now, today, our kids need to sit down and listen, not run around in our long houses long ago. And it's important that the kids sit still and listen to what the elders are saying and the adults. Right now, I can see quietness because you're hearing what I'm saying. It's important we hear what we're saying. And it's important that you keep it here. We all are of age to say this because I never thought I was an elder till I lost my mom 3 years ago. She's our matriarch of the Eagles in our clan, our house. And it's hard to lose someone who was there for years, 94 years. And when we lose someone like that, we lose an icon of all our elders in the nation. They have so much knowledge and patience for kids, grandkids, great-grandkids. My wife and I'm a Ulish. My wife is a Ulish. In our language, that means great one. And I can't believe I'm there. AGE caught up on me. And it's important that we carry ourselves well for all, so they see what we're about, how we teach them, and be patient with them. When they see that, they do the same. When you're sitting still like these kids right now, that's very important. Really knowledgeable ways of sitting and listening. I see my wife looking at me, so I'll have to hand the mic over. Direction, how good she is. One more thing. Why is Shim you got? There you get. See God and that. That's for the matriarchs who are in here. The wise ones who carry our knowledge. They have more knowledge in them than us men. We think we do, but they carry a lot. They carry our nations. And it's very important that we keep them up there where they belong. Direction.
We only have 2 more questions, and then I'll allow you guys to go downstairs, enjoy some Indian tacos. Also, the what you call that trade and barter shop back there? I don't know what it's called. The shop down there is open. All the proceeds go for Cape Fox Heritage Foundation. That allows us to go to their open craft nights, make button blankets, and revitalize a lot of things in our village. So please stop by the gift shop, but go get your Indian taco. The next question is, if you're sitting next to your niece, not right now, but you're sitting next to your niece, You know she's aging, you know she's growing, you know she's been sitting at the Alaskan Native Brotherhood and Sisterhood meetings for many moons. She's watching all the women go missing. She's watching our subsistence rights being infringed upon. She's wondering why we have to get a fishing permit from the government. She just doesn't understand the world today. And you know, sometimes I don't either. And it takes an uncle to sit down and get me and walk me through it. And then it's no longer living in fear, right? It's understanding. And when you're understanding, you have less fear. And when you go to understanding, you know how to defend yourselves better. So I like to start with, we'll go with Tom and we'll head left on the table, but I want to know, what is the one thing you want your niece to know? What is she gonna know? What should she know? What's gonna help her? Whether she's sitting at the table, the Alaskan Native Brotherhood table, whether she's standing in front of a legislator, whether she's standing in front of the borough asking for rezoning, whether they're over there trying to protect clam beds, whether it's Pennock Island. What is the one thing you want your niece to know to encourage her? One of the things I like to tell my nephews is, you know, and be strong and know that we stand next to you and we're here for you. And in all my classes and all my science classes, I always teach the kids, you know, women are sacred. And I don't say men are protectors. I say men are to be protected because our men go to the front lines for us all the time. And, you know, it's rough and we should be there protecting them. Because a lot of women that are not in our community believe that they can go up and aggressively talk to our men sometimes, but it's our job and it's our responsibility to protect them. So what is the one thing you want to tell your niece? What's the one thing that's going to help her? You know, be safe. One of the best things that I was ever told in life, and again, it wasn't by an uncle, it was by my grandmother, was go get your education, learn as much as you can, because the one thing this government or any other government that chooses to come within our territory can't take away from you. And that's what you know. So as long as I keep learning that language, it can't be taken from me. So Tom, if there's one thing you want your niece to know, what would you tell her?
One thing, there's a few things I'd like to say, tell her, and my granddaughters. Listen to who's talking to you so you understand where they're coming from. And you have a right answer and a good answer because you're educated enough to let them know where you stand. It's important that we all back them who are talking for their generation. It's important that we tell them the positive things of life. It's important they know we're behind them. Once they see that you're behind them, when you show up, when they're talking or whatever, they see you and it feels good that they see you. We love our granddaughters. One's are going to graduate this year, and it's hard to even think that she that fast. And right now, it's important that we tell our nieces the same. Get educated. They can't take that paper away from you or your knowledge that you learned from your school. It's very important. I learned a couple of different things, but right now I'm retired. I used to work several other places that really helped me get into this world. We had to move away for 18 years to Seattle to work because Metkatla lost all their productions of cannery, longshoring, mill. So we moved to Seattle where my wife grew up and raised our kids there. And they got good education. They're doing good. And they are still doing good. I love it when they get a hold of us and say something that really makes us feel good inside. It's important that we always tell the extended family, in our ways, we aren't cousins, and that's I'm so away. To us, we are brothers and sisters. All the nations in the South pretty much still think the same way. It's important we let these children know where we stand for them so they could feel strength behind them, to get educated, feel good about themselves, so they're productive in the world. It's important that we continue to tell them, get educated. It's very important. You may sound like a broken record, but when they finish, they see your happiness in you. So that makes them feel happy and proud that they finished. There's a lot of things they can do that make you feel good. This coming year, my granddaughter, the youngest one, is going to finish her cheerleading, but I want her to go get into engraving, silver, artwork. She wants to. And it's important that we let them both know what they do and what they still feel good about doing. And my nieces, it's important that they know you stand behind them. Deutschland, how good is cheese?
I, I would tell them nobody's going to fight for them besides himself. So along with what Tom said, is go get educated. You know, I wanted to leave here and I had a kid. I said, I'm going to leave when he leaves, and he's been gone for 5 years and I'm still here. And I'm doing a little bit more traveling and I almost feel like I'm going to become a snowbird soon, but I'm not old enough to retire. So, you know, getting educated and, you know, what I told my son was leave and come back. I said, you're always going to come back. I'll tell my nieces that because they're all strong and we need strong Native women to help fight the fight. It's not just the guys. We can't do it all alone. And it's, you know, we need everybody, you know, to fight together for whatever we're going to fight against. But nobody's going to do it for them. And I feel like I have a lot of strong nieces that can really fight for themselves. And, you know, really getting educated, I think, is the best in coming back and doing the work. And don't stick around like I did.
For me, you know, I have a lot of nieces. And I tell each and every one of them all the time, I was like, if you want change, go after your dream. If you need help, ask someone. Don't just sit there and not knowing what to do. Just ask questions. Get to know people and just ask for help. They will help you. You know, if you're away from home, we're one phone call away. We are here for you because, you know, nothing is going to change unless you step forward and try to make that change. You know, we've made changes throughout this life, you know, in our time. Now it's their turn. Now it's their turn to make the changes that they want to see happen in their lifetime. And the only way they can do that is that they work together with everyone around them that they feel safe around, and no matter who they are or where they're from. But, like they were saying, we got to do this all together. When we're all together, we are stronger than ever. And we can do this. They can make this change. I always encourage my nieces to get out there and do something about it. Get your education. Go out there and make something happen for yourself and your kids. Because if they don't, nothing will happen. So I just keep encouraging them. Encouraging is the best way to do it. And just tell them how proud of them you are. And just back them and keep motivating them as the best way you can. Because I say that to my nieces all the time. I always tell them how proud I am, how to keep moving forward. Never take any steps back. Keep moving forward. You'll get stronger that way. You'll make more connections and help make changes that you want to see in the future. Thank you.
Staying rooted in your culture. Find your roots. Find how far back your family goes and how many people it attaches to. When you do that, you find, I'm at a loss for words. I'm talking about how great I am with words, and I can't think of a thing. Once you have your idea of home, there's no other feeling than belonging. And everybody in here can kind of ride with that same feeling, no matter if it's socially acceptable or amongst your peers, or forbid you're in a room by yourself with your talking bird. You have somebody else there to kind of bounce off these ideas and feel a part of something. Our culture feels like that times 1,000. We have so many people that we're related to and have connections with. Everybody at the table, and many faces that I see in here, I've grown up with you. I've seen you. We've either walked on the same sidewalk together or done cultural things. If I didn't have that to fall back on, being an artist, as being Michael, or being an individual, I don't know what type of insane path I'd be walking on. So for any niece, any nephew, niece in particular, fall back on your family. Know where you're from, know where you're rooted. It helps you with the trajectory once you know where you're from. Thank you.
Ganagchish. These questions are really important because I need our community to really emphasize and put thought towards what it is that means a community and how our uncles impact us in what you do and how you treat your niece, no matter how old she is, whether she's about to be a graduating master's student, whether she's 4, it doesn't matter what she is. We need to bring this right back into our community because this is how Elizabeth was shaped. And there's Tora Zamora shaped this way. There's Inessa shaped this way. There's Monica shaped this way. There's every niece out there needs the good uncles, and we have them. I love and uplift this panel. They've done absolutely amazing tonight. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm sweating. These are some of the toughest uncles to even sit in a room with. I feel like I can't breathe when Tom's talking because I'm not allowed to interrupt because I want to know. And then if he takes a pause, I'm not sure if the story's done and I don't want to interrupt it. So I'll sit there for an extra 5 minutes just to make sure. And then he'll look over like what I'm staring at. But these uncles right here consistently shape me every single day. And I know Milgum's quite young himself, and Franklin and Frank, and And Tom's quite young himself as well. So, you know, these uncles, the minimal words that they do say when they go by and they give simple compliments. Woodrow Watson, you know, since I've came home and hosted Elizabeth Peratrovich Day, his encouraging words every year have me come back. And those words have us go a long, long ways. And I just need to put emphasis that Elizabeth Peratrovich wasn't built by women. She had a whole lot of uncles surrounding her. She had a lot of aunties surrounding her. She had community. She had Tlingit Yugatangi. She had her old ways with her still. And this is what's important. I just want to highlight the uncles on our island that are doing amazing and consistently showing up. And that's what's important. This very, very last question, and then I'll let everybody go get some tacos, is this was meant to uplift our nephews. I'm watching our nephews look around for a job, a responsibility. We consistently uplift women in this community. Tribal council is almost completely all women. We get a couple of men in there that just real strong with all of them in there. But I need to see the nephews being uplifted. I want to see them with goals. I want them to go out there. We need lawyers to come back with law degrees. But if you're gonna go, like Frank said, come back. We need you to come back home. You wanna build an economy, you know, people say it's cheaper down south, that's great. Come back home, build this one. We have a home, it's been our home for a long time, but please, just like me, go get your education, but come home, because home needs you, and it's where you belong. I want to know what do you wish to tell the nephews? Give them a goal for next year. Give them some motivation for next year. What are you here to tell the nephews? The nephews are listening and they're watching you, and there's some of them even in the crowd. What is your message for the nephews? And that'll be our final question for the night. We'll start with Milgam.
My favorite title to run is Dance General, just because I get to flex those uncle arms in the dance group setting and just the cultural setting. And there's a little bit of vulnerability that our kids get when they're performing and being themselves and acting their goofy selves that wear a stern snap, and I can just stare at my nephew, have a one-on-one heart-to-heart conversation. And no matter if it sounds mean or gravelly, or the approach is always gruff, right? As it should be. But we are warriors by trade. But what we are warriors for in our modern day society is to uphold the peace, even as men. And that is a direct directive from any auntie that I've ever walked in a clan house with or a party with. You walk with pride, you stand with respect, and you listen with intent. With our cultural society, even modern day society, we have that ability to stand and look maybe a little menacing or stoic, you know. That is all fine and dandy to have with that little bit of male bravado in modern day society. Traditional days, that wouldn't fly. You walked with respect, you listened with intent. And if there's anything that I drill into my nephews nowadays, it's that. Yeah, you can be your goofy self. Yes, you can be the next idea and the vision for whatever comes tomorrow, but you need to stop and listen to what's going on now so you can apply that to your life. Warriors of peace is the coolest phrase I've keyed since I've had to sit down and talk to my nephews and nieces. More brute force and knuckle sandwiches from the nephews most of the time, from being, you know, our stand-in jungle gyms. Anybody who has a boy or rowdy little girl, you know, the first 3-4 years of the life, you are the jungle gym. You are the fighting opponents. You are building their security. You are helping them build this idea of conquering anything. It should go past the ages of 18 all the way up to 24, 25 till you build your own home as a man. If there's anything that you need discipline in, it's your ability to be peaceful with any thought. So, thank you.
What he said? Okay. Yeah, he said a lot of things right on that I've done for my only nephew that I have. I have a few other great nephews, but you know, I am proud of how my nephew is coming up in his life now. He's a freshman in high school, and you know, my sister always says, you know, you were actually my first son because she always took care of me growing up. But you know, she was like, you know, I basically have another you because your nephew is just like you, you know, acts like me, uh, real stoic, you know, never play around. You know, I'm kidding. Kidding. I can't say that. I like to. A lot of people say I should have been a raven because I like to be trickster. But but he is coming around. Whenever we are in places where they're doing totem pole raisings or anything cultural wise, we tell them, hey, this is a place of, you know, not playing around. We should be sitting on listening. We are here to watch them conduct their business, you know, and this is where we're learning. We're learning their stories that they're telling. And he'll sit there next to me and watch the whole thing. He'll take everything in. And then he'll, after everything's over and then we go back to what we're saying, he'll just sit there and he'll tell me, you know, he had a great time. He learned stories. He's like, thank you for telling me, hey, this is not a time or place to play around. This is a place to sit there and listen. And then now he's, you know, he's actually doing the same thing to his nephews. He's telling them, this is not your place to play. You know, you need to sit down and listen to these. He's learning from what I've told him and his other uncles have told him. You know, so now he's passing it down to his nephews, and it's, you know, it makes me so proud. And I tell him all the time how proud of I am of him on how he's being an uncle to his nieces, his nephews. He's already starting to pass that along as you know, he's only a freshman in high school. So he's passing the knowledge that he's learned and he's adding to it, and it makes me proud. And you know, he grew up in a house of all girls, so he had to like really, really sit down and listen. He didn't really get a chance to play around like you know, younger boys do. He had to, you know, be one of the girls kind of growing up. You know, they used to paint his nails and everything, but you know, but yeah, he turned out to be an amazing young man, and you know, we tell him how proud of him we are every single time. Uh, Now there's times where he runs our dance practices. I'm just there to make sure the longhouse is open on days that we do have practice, and you know, and there's times where he makes sure his nephews are standing there with him to watch him and teach him the moves of the songs. So to me, he's already surpassed of what I did for him, which is awesome, and I'm proud of him for doing that. Thank you.
Um, I I've told my nephews, the younger ones that are just becoming age to work, to get out and explore. I have one nephew, he did training over on Prince of Wales. And it's the best story that I can imagine. He went over there with $100 for 7 weeks. And Mr. Edwards and Jazz said, that's not gonna work. You need some food. And he said, I'll be fine. But he stuck it out. He made it, and now he's going to work on the North Slope. But just being able to get out and explore, I mean, he's going to make a ton of money. It's okay to have those blue collar jobs as well, or the blue collar jobs, because we need them. So yeah, just get out and explore and keep your head on straight, and things will be a smooth ride.
Still mute, Brett.
Well, I have a few nephews. And it's always the aunties who send them to me because I'm the oldest uncle. And for when they were young, they were shivering in their boots to see me because they knew how I was. But eventually, I had to learn from my matriarch, talk to them. Don't get mad at them. It's important that they hear what you say. And I'm still learning that. It's a hard thing for us to learn what we were taught when we were growing up. We didn't have our culture, it was hidden away because we lived on an island that was taught by, we weren't taught our culture until we got in our early 20s. We may know a lot of stories and stuff like that, but it's important that we made sure our nephews listened to what we had to say. So he always came in, sat down, and listened. And I was really surprised at how many of them have turned out very well. I'm glad they did, because there are a lot of nephews that are doing good. It's important that we all have that in mind for nephews and nieces, granddaughters, daughters, so they follow your example. And my wife's example too. It's important that they both have a say, or we do have a say. Because sometimes when they listen to you, they kind of drift away, so I make them eyeball me, look at me. When I'm talking to you, I mean what I'm saying. And it's important that we let them kids know that we care, we love them. It's important to show that love because they're going into the big world. And outside of Alaskan and Ketchikan, down there is way different. Different than what we know here in Southeast. They could always come home when they're done being educated. And we love for them to come home. It strengthens our nations always when they're home educated. It's important that both sides, the women and men, learn what we know. But I like to just turn it over to my wife for the women, because she knows more what to say for the girls. I may have a few things to say, but he has more wise words for them than I do. I have more in tune with my nephews and love our family. I have a little small family over there. The Guthries over here and there are big. We have some in Heidelberg and Kloop, Petersburg. I'm learning more and more who I'm related to on my Tlingit side. I wish I'd known that. That way I can walk and tell people who I am. And there are times, right now we've been so busy, we usually have Tsimshian storytelling in my home. We have had up to a dozen people listening to what we have to say about our people, the stories we know. I love it. And she's just gave me a signal. But we have native foods when we do that. It's important they know we still are here. Dochin, how good is cheese?
To all of our panelists, I just want them to stand up and everybody give them a big giant round of applause. These men took a lot to be vulnerable. It takes a lot for uncles to speak up and speak out, but these are our true leaderships of the island, is our uncles, you know, and it's important to uplift. And you guys wonder, what does this have to do with our civil rights and Elizabeth Peratrovich? Well, our uncles are absolutely important, and our panelists can go ahead and take the exit and shake each other's hand if they want. But there is a prison pipeline built for our men right now. If you guys look at our island, if you guys want to look at the Ketchikan and how many natives are in there, it's almost 100%. We are in a prison pipeline. We are being targeted right now, and it is our men, and we need to protect them. Like I said, women are sacred, men are to be protected, and this is my advance moving forward. These men deserve to be protected. Good night, guys. Thank you. Let's go ahead and make our way downstairs. Fry bread tacos are hot and ready for you, straight out of the grease. Please go visit the totem. That's not even what it is. Go visit the gift shop, the trade barter. I don't know if they trade or barter, but go visit the gift shop. It goes right back into the Saxman village, so we can have button blanking classes, weaving, sewing, all that. And again, Gunachish for coming to the 2026 Elizabeth Peratrovich Day at the Discovery Center.